Are you ready to launch your dream business in Tennessee but stuck on finding the perfect name? Don't waste time guessing. Learn how to expertly navigate Tennessee's business name search and get the best tips to make your choice unforgettable. Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're unlocking one of the absolutely critical foundational steps of starting a business in the volunteer state. We're going to decode the exact process of how to search, clear, and secure available business names in Tennessee. If you're an entrepreneur, a founder, or really just someone with a brilliant idea, you are in the exact right place.
Because choosing a name, it isn't just a fun creative exercise, it is a vital legal hurdle. Get it wrong, and you could be looking at rejected applications, wasted money, or much worse. But get it right, and you've literally laid the very first brick of your new empire.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Here is our roadmap for today. We're going to cover 1. The stakes, 2. The execution, 3. The minefield, 4. The lock-in, and 5. The toolkit. Let's go!
Part 1. The stakes. Let's talk about why your name really, absolutely matters.
Look, it is incredibly tempting to just jump straight into designing a slick logo or building out a website the second you brainstorm a clever name. I get it. But here in Tennessee, just because a name looks available doesn't mean it's safe to use right out of the gate. Getting it wrong? Well, that can mean rejected state filings, accidental trademark infringement, and even costly lawsuits. Think about it. The state charges anywhere from $300 to $3,000 just to file an LLC. If your name gets rejected because you skipped a proper search, you're literally just throwing money and time out the window. And worse, if you accidentally step on a federal trademark, you might be looking at cease and desist letters and a forced, expensive rebrand right after you've launched. No thanks.
Moving on to Section 2, the execution. This is your step-by-step search guide.
All right, so to build a totally bulletproof foundation for your new venture, you need to use what the pros call a triple-layer search strategy. Now, most people just do step 1 and call it a day, but not us. We are going to make sure you do all 3. First up, you check the state registry using Tennessee's TNBER or TNCAB databases. This makes sure your name is legally distinguishable from existing businesses. Second layer, the state trademark registry. See, a business might not be an LLC, but they might have trademarked a specific brand name right here in Tennessee. And third, and honestly, this is absolutely crucial, you check the federal USPTO, the United States Patent and Trademark Office. Your name could be totally clear in Tennessee, but if some company out in California owns the federal trademark for it, you can't use it. It's like a giant puzzle you have to put together.
Now for some pro tips. Just a few simple search tactics can save you from a massive headache later. When you're poking around the Tennessee state databases, do not actually type LLC or Inc. into the search bar. Leave those entity designators off entirely, so you can catch conflicts across all types of businesses. Second trick, always use the contains filter instead of starts with. This makes sure you catch names that sound similar or maybe have your keyword buried right in the middle of a longer phrase. And finally, be sure to check both active and inactive entities, because even if a business is technically inactive right now, their name might still be legally protected or reserved. You've got to check every corner.
Section 3, the minefield. Let's look at some examples and common pitfalls to avoid.
So here in Tennessee, availability isn't just about finding an exact character-for-character match. The state actually uses a very specific legal standard, and it's called being distinguishable. This is governed by Tennessee Code Annotated Section 48-249-106. Basically, your name has to be substantially different from all existing or reserved Tennessee business names. And here's the kicker. The state completely ignores differences in capitalization, punctuation, and articles like a, an, or the. So adding a comma or making a letter uppercase, that doesn't magically make your name distinguishable.
Let's put that into perspective with a real-world example, because this rule can be a bit tricky. Take Amy's Organic Bakery, Inc. versus Amy's Organic Bakery, LLC. Those are not distinguishable. Swapping Inc. for LLC at the end means absolutely nothing to the state. However, look at Amy's Organic Bakery versus Amy's Organic Bakeries. See what happened there? Changing that singular word to a plural actually is considered distinguishable in Tennessee. The core substantive words of the name itself have to change.
You've also got to watch your step around restricted words. Obviously, you can't use words that trick people into thinking you're a government agency, a charity, or some licensed professional if you aren't one. But beyond that, if you want to use financial terms, think words like bank, credit union, mortgage, or trust, you can't just go file your paperwork. No way. You actually have to get prior written approval from the Tennessee Department of Financial Institutions before the Secretary of State will even look at your filing.
All right, Section 4, the lock-in.
Now it's time to talk about securing and protecting that perfect name. Okay, so you've done your triple layer search, you've successfully navigated the minefield, and guess what? Your dream name is available. So how do you lock it down before someone else snatches it up? Well, the magic number here is $20. Yep, that is literally all it takes to lock in your name if you aren't quite ready to officially form your business today. You just file an application for name reservation, that's Form SS-9425, with the Secretary of State, pay that flat $20 fee, and you're good to go. And what does that $20 actually get you? It buys you exactly 120 days of protection. So for roughly 4 months, the state puts a big reserved sign on that name just for you. This gives you some much-needed breathing room to write out your business plan, secure your funding, or draft up your articles of organization without that low-key panic of losing your brand identity. Oh, and if you hit that deadline and need a little more time, you can just renew it by filing the form and paying the fee again. Super easy. Now, we need to clear up a really crucial distinction for anyone who wants to operate under a different name. Let's say your official LLC is Smith Enterprises, but you want the sign above your storefront to say Nashville Coffee Roasters. For that, you'd file a DBA, or an assumed name, which also costs $20. But listen close, a DBA is really just an alias. It lasts for 5 years and gives you zero personal liability protection. An LLC, on the other hand, creates a perpetual, totally separate legal entity that actually shields your personal assets. So never, ever confuse an assumed name with a fully formed LLC. They are totally different beasts.
Once you've got the state stuff handled, you've got to think bigger and future-proof your brand. The literal second your name clears those state and federal databases, go secure the matching.com domain, go claim your handles on Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, X, all of them. Your digital address is honestly just as important as your legal one these days. And hey, if you're planning to eventually scale outside of Tennessee, you should really consider filing an intent to use, or ITU, trademark with the federal government. That basically plants your flag and secures your priority nationwide before you've even made your first sale.
And that brings us to Section 5, the toolkit. Tools, resources, and your next steps. So, you know the strategy now, but where exactly on the internet are you supposed to go to actually execute all of this? Well, Tennessee runs a dual-system digital database, and honestly, it can feel a little confusing at first glance. There are 2 main portals you need to know, TNBEAR and TNCAB. TNBEAR stands for Tennessee Business Entity and Records. It's a completely free public search tool, and you don't even need an account to use it. It is perfect for those initial, quick checks to see if a name is taken. Then you have TNCAB, which is the Tennessee Certifications and Business Portal. This is the newer, comprehensive filing system. This is where you'll actually create an account to file your name reservations, do deep dive state trademark searches, and eventually submit your official business formation paperwork. Now, before we wrap things up, a quick reminder. The content provided in this explainer is for informational purposes only and should not be considered as legal or professional advice. Always consult with a qualified professional for legal matters related to business registration and trademarking in Tennessee. And there you have it. You now know exactly how to run a triple layer search, navigate the tricky rules of distinguishability, reserve your perfect name for just $20, and future-proof your digital empire. You've got the toolkit. So the only question left to ask is this. Your name is cleared and protected. Are you ready to file your articles of organization and make your dream a reality? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and best of luck building your Tennessee business. You've got this.